Hey students, today we're going to look at some of the new features in Keynote you can use to create some animations. So to begin with, you're going to create a new presentation. This is just for fun and for you to practice. And we're going to choose the plain white presentation. Once that's loaded, because we're going to be doing more of a picture rather than text on here, we're going to take this text box off as well as this text box as well. So all I'm doing is touching them and pushing delete and they're disappearing from there. At this point, I'm going to use the paintbrush and give this a background color. So we're going to go here. So what we're going to ask you to do is make a rainstorm or a thunderstorm. So we're going to create some kind of a background that might look like a rain or thunderstorm. And you can choose your own things here. I am just throwing some things up here that I think might work for me. There's my background, and now because I'm going to do a rainstorm or thunderstorm, I'm going to want some clouds up here. So I'm going to go up to this plus sign again, and this time when I touch it, I'm going to do the shapes, which is right here. And then I can either look through the symbols or there's this nice search right here, and when I tap that search, I could type something in like cloud, and then it's going to give me a cloud. And I can move this around on my screen. I can also go back up to that paintbrush, and when I touch that paintbrush, I can change the color. So because I am doing more of a nighttime cloud storm kind of thing, I'm going to put this in kind of a grayish color. Now, once you have one that you want and you think, oh, I want some more clouds, you can simply copy and paste that. So if I select the cloud and I see copy, I can choose copy off of the list, and then I can tap somewhere else on my screen, hold down my finger a little bit and get paste. Then I have another cloud. I can do the same thing and I can keep pasting and having more clouds in the sky for my stormy weather. Okay, get the idea with that. This time I'm going to go back up and I'm going to add another shape. Remember that was the plus sign, and then the shapes are chosen here. And then if you are done with cloud, you can X that out and search again. This time I'm going to look for a raindrop, but I know it's under water, so I'm going to search for water. And as I scroll down, I can see some other choices here. And way down on the bottom is this water drop. And when I put that in, now this is a little big for me, so I'm going to grab a handle and I'm going to make it smaller. And I'm also, again, going to use that paintbrush, and I'm going to change my color in the side of this to make this again look a little different. Before I go further and copy and paste more raindrops on here, we're going to want our raindrop to actually fall down on the sky. And so to do that, we're going to animate it. And I'm going to touch my raindrop, and the very last choice on this box is animate. And when I touch that, I have choices for animation. So as an example, I can choose how it comes in, what happens once it's already in, and what happens if you want it to go out. So for example, as an action on here, I'm going to choose action, and I'm going to choose this create path, which is this first one. And this is a new feature here. With the create path, you can now draw a path of where this raindrop is going to go. And I'm actually going to have it go right off of the screen, and then I'm going to hit done. So now that I have this animation done, I'm going to come up to the upper right hand corner and I'm going to choose done. And then I want to copy this raindrop, and then I'm going to paste it just like I did with my clouds. I'm going to paste a bunch of raindrops in here. Okay, we're going to take this a step further. What if you were to play this right now? If you were to play this right now, the animation would not work unless you tap the screen each time to make the raindrops drop. So you would have to tap every time you wanted the raindrops to fall down. So here's how we're going to change that. So we're going to tap on this raindrop that we have again and go back to animate. And if you look in the upper right hand corner next to the word done is this bulleted list. And when I tap that, it's going to show me all of my raindrops, and it shows that each one has a motion path on it, but each one is on tap. And I'm going to change that. So I'm going to go up to water drop 1, and I'm going to say that I want this to start after my transition. And at any point, I can also change this so it delays. So that means that it won't drop right away. It can pause a little bit. So here's an example. I'm going to go to water drop 2. Now notice there's a little gap in between here because this one is still on tap. But when I come over and choose after build 1, which means after the first raindrop, if I click that, notice that little gap up here is gone. Those two are in a sense connected, that one happens after the other. And I'm going to delay this a little bit because I want that drop to fall a little bit later. And then I'm going to go to drop 3, and I'm going to choose after, delay a little bit, next water drop, after, delay, next water drop, delay. So now these are all going to go automatically once I do my presentation. So let's take a look. I'm going to choose done up here, and then I'm going to choose my present button. So now let's say that we wanted to, in our rainstorm, we wanted to add some lightning as well. So if I went up to shapes and I chose lightning, oh, and there's different kinds of lightning here, so I can throw that in, and I can remember to change the color if I want to, more of a yellow color in here. And then I can choose where I want this on my page. Move it around, I could rotate it, I could do all those kinds of things. However, I want you to remember that this will not go until you push tap or if you animate. So I'm going to press this again. I'm going to do animate, and I'm going to say that I want this to appear. After the build out, I'm going to have it disappear. Now here's my lightning, and I'm going to say that I want this after a few of these raindrops. I'm going to drag it up there, but notice that it put a gap in between here because this is still on tap. So if I want the lightning to go on its own, I'm going to do after build 3. Maybe I'll put a delay in there, and then you can also try previewing it too. If you notice, my disappear wasn't up there to begin with, and now it is, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to move this up, and after build 4, so the lightning's going to come on, then it's going to disappear, and then some more raindrops are going to fall. Okay, so I'm done with that. So some things we'd like you to play with are adding shapes, adding animations, creating a motion path on there. The final thing we'd like you to play with is adding in sound to this. So in this plus sign, instead of going to the shapes, we're going to go to this very last button. It looks like a little picture there, and you're going to see record audio. And when you record audio, now ideally in yours, you're going to try to make a lightning, thunder sound, rain sound, something like that. But I'm going to talk so that you can actually see what's going on here. So if I click record audio, my microphone shows up at the bottom, and when I'm ready, I'm going to hit record, and it's going to record right away. So this is where you can make your sound effect, and then you're going to push stop when you're done. You can listen to it with the preview button. If you like it, you can use it. If you don't like it, you can record over again. You can also edit a little bit. By that, I mean that if maybe you didn't get recording right away, you could drag this over, this very first part. You could drag it over a little bit and cut out that first section. The same with at the end. If you didn't get it stopped right away, you can drag this back. And then when you're done, you're going to hit the trim, and it's going to trim that for you. Again, if you didn't like it at all, you could delete it. So I would hit trim, And I'm going to choose Insert in the upper right hand corner, and I now have this sound. Well, seems like great. I'd have this sound down here if I preview, but I didn't animate it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to touch one of my raindrops again and go back to animate and go back to this little bulleted list up here, and I'm going to see this audio. And where do I want this? Well, if I just made some rain sounds instead of me talking, maybe I'd want that first. And maybe I'd want the rain sounds to be happening right away. And maybe I don't want it to be on tap, but I want it to be after transition. And then it would be playing while these other things were happening. Now, depending upon how long it was, your raindrops may keep going if the sound was really short. So I'm guessing you can figure out what would be really cool is to add in a thunder boom when this lightning comes up and move it up during this lightning and having that boom happen when the either lightning occurs or after the lightning occurs, your choice. So that's how you can add shapes, add animations, and rearrange those animations and do them so they are automatic, and also adding audio. Have fun creating your own rainstorm.